I have a short and sweet video for you this evening. We are up to day 9 of our epic spiritual fitness plan. I can't believe that we're this far along, and I'm really excited to continue with you. The reason that this one is really good is because I relate to this one so much. I have every intention to be a wonderful, giving, generous person and amazing at relationships, and so helpful with my job to the people in it, and helpful at home to the people around me, and helpful in the world, etc., etc. And then this thing happens where the other person is not being reasonable, or the other person is messing something up about it, or I'm hot and I'm tired and I'm cranky and I don't know why, or I'm hungry, or a million other reasons why I'm messing up. But for some reason, I came with the best of intentions. I meant for everything to go really well, and it just didn't. And what can I do? Like, I just got a rotten deal, and it's not in my control. So where does that leave you? And I'll give you some bigger examples of how that can affect you in a really, really deep way. You can have a marriage that's falling apart, or you could have a marriage that doesn't last, and that leaves us with this feeling like we got a rotten end of the deal. Or you might have children that have some kind of an issue that you wouldn't have created had you had the choice. Or you might have a health problem, or someone you care about might have a health problem, or you might have lost someone you love, or you might have chronic pain, or you might have financial difficulty, or your career might not be where you were hoping it would be, or your parents might have been abusive to you or not kind to you in some way, and it really messed you up. There are a lot of very big things that messes us up, all of us, and especially me, where we really want to do the right thing, and it just seems like it's out of our control. Gary Zukov, he's a spiritual leader. He's a Jewish guy, but I can't say he's a Jewish spiritual leader, because while many of his ideas are in line with Jewish thought, they aren't based in it. But he had this interview with Oprah that I watched that I thought was really powerful. And he talks about the soul and its relationship to your personality. And after my death video last time, I did get some messages and calls about people who were anxious about death and dying and what that meant. So he basically says this: your soul and my soul, these things, came before us and are staying after us. They do not die. Whereas the rest of us are very malleable. Our personalities, our genes, how intelligent I am, how dynamic I am, how charismatic I am, my emotions, if I'm an emotional person or not, whatever traits I may have, those things are very, changeable. And the other part, which is called our soul, is something that's totally a constant. And we have been sent here to planet Earth on a mission. And our soul chose our personality and traits and body because that is the ship that it needs in order to accomplish what it needs to accomplish. And our soul, he talks about it as a metaphor of being like a mothership. I don't want to lose people who are esoteric, so I want to get right to the point. You can react to any situation from a global scale to a personal scale, in different manners. And you can choose what part of your personality you want to tap into when you're responding to something. So he says you basically have two options. You can choose fear, or you can choose love. Take someone who's working incredibly hard because they want to earn more and more and more money, and it's just never enough. Or someone who's obsessed with beauty, or someone who's obsessed with, gaining academics. These things sometimes come out of like a bottomless pit. We're so hungry for it. We're fearful. It's coming from a fear. We see that a lot of the time people react out of fear, and it's how wars can start. So it's big and it's small. You might even have a power struggle in your home between yourself and someone you care about, or someone in your family who doesn't live as close to you, and the reaction that you give them is coming out of fear. The other option that you have, which is also part of your personality, is love. You can opt to respond with generosity of spirit, with gratitude, with good, positive love. So why this really, really sank in for me was because they had this couple who had twin boys. And after 4 days, baby Ryan died, and this couple was mourning their little one. And while they still had one son who was alive, they were definitely focused on the one who died. And what can you possibly say to someone who loses a child? There's just nothing. There are no words. It must be the most painful thing, and no one should know that kind of pain. And yet he responded with something so profound that I wanted to share it with you. He said, you can spend the rest of your life mourning baby Ryan. And that would be perfectly understandable and reasonable. And every time your other son goes and has a birthday or celebrates a milestone or graduates something, you're going to be mourning the baby who didn't make it, to the point that your other son might actually feel like he's dreading reaching any happy milestone because those milestones make his parents upset and make his parents cry. The other option that you can choose is you can opt to look at the fact that baby Ryan came to you as a gift. For 4 days, God gifted you, he doesn't use the word God, but God gifted you with a soul under your care. You got to be exposed to this precious soul. Okay, it was only 4 days, but at least it was 4 days. That's more than anyone else got with that soul. What a gift. What a source of blessing and inspiration it is. And what a different perspective of gratitude, I'm sorry about the wobbliness, but of gratitude and love that you can respond and being thankful for this blessing versus feeling so sad and in despair and mournful, and it ruins the lives of the people around you also. So I thought that was such a beautiful way to respond to something that's difficult, because anything difficult in our lives, we can opt to respond from a place of love or a place of fear. All those examples I listed at the beginning of this video, we can, if baby Ryan can be responded to with love and not fear, then every other thing that I listed in the beginning of this video can also be responded to with love and not fear. The last thing I'll tell you is his other point, which is a lot of his belief system is based in physics. And we know that in physics, even those of us who are not physics experts, we know that every action causes an equal and opposite reaction. And we know that this is true in Ethics of the Fathers. Hillel points it out to us because he sees that there's a skull that's floating in the water. And he says, just as someone drowned you, you must have drowned others, and the person who drowned you is going to drown as well. Whatever intention you put out there into the world, it's going to come back to you. Every single intention, every single moment, which can be a scary thought, or it could be a very big and exciting thought. If you have two choices to put out into the world, love or fear, what do you want to opt into? Obviously, we want to receive the love. So I guess I want to end with this. You know, God writes the plans for us. We don't get to choose. We don't get to choose our challenges. We don't get to choose the background music. The only thing we can choose is our response. And wouldn't it be better that if instead of focusing on, you know, what the life map looks like for us, wouldn't it be better if we got to focus on the driving, and we got to focus on the drive and appreciating it, and stopped worrying about the route that was created by somebody else who knows so much better? So I hope with that peace of mind, you're able to go in to your Epic Spiritual Fitness Plan in a way that's fully content and at peace with all the circumstances thrown at you. Thank you.